through manage videos.
There's the original metal one.
Yeah, I'm talking to myself, so the fuck else is new?
I
Bring up
was
the
waiting.
fuck. I'm muttering at the stream too. Bring up the fucking thing. Ain't gonna be no sound initially, cause like until I bring it up into full screen, there's no sound.
Yeah, and I haven't had it linked to me, so I
I'm
can't tell
working
you
on it.
anything.
I'm working on it.
Just saying.
Bring up the
waiting.
fuck. I'm muttering at the stream too. Bring up the fucking thing. Ain't gonna be no sound initially, cause like until I bring it up into full screen, there's no sound. All right, about to link it to you.
All right.
Oh shit! This. There you go. Let me know when you got it up. Yeah, this is super fucking professional. Anybody that actually comes in this early, yeah, welcome to the shit show. At this point, I don't care. It's here. It's what I'm doing.
It looks actually really good.
Let's see if it stays that way once I start playing. Alright, I'm going to close that. I'm going to close this. Just let me know if anything changes, alright?
Okay.
There should be some sound here in a minute.
What's your delay on this, by the way?
I don't know. There's a way to set it. I don't honestly remember what I set it to. But there should be music soon enough.
Okay.
I don't know if you can hear it or not. Because I have no idea if it'll come through in the stream or if it's just acting stupid or what. What the fuck is this? Unlimited chances, what? How does that work? Oh, fuck it. Oh, fuck it. I don't even care. I'm just fucking around when we talk anyway.
Let's see. Volume tad high in the music.
Proper story is supposed to start at the beginning. Ain't
There's
so
not a lot I can
this
do.
one.
Actually, I can fix that once I start the
now
game.
here's a kid whose whole world got all twisted, leaving him stranded on a rock in the sky.
No sweat mode is there.
It's there because I've had a shit day and I don't feel like fucking with it.
Sets off for the Bastion.
I will try not to react to the video since it's in the past.
No, it don't matter because your audio's gonna do whatever. Do what you're gonna do. Anyway, we gotta figure out something to talk about. And I'll go and turn some of the stuff down in this because this music's fantastic. But if you can't hear me, we're gonna have a problem.
Well, it sounds good.
Oop, turn the subtitles on. Thank you. Well, let me know if this helps any. You hear me a little better over the music and shit now?
Give me a minute. I gotta like catch up.
Finds his lifelong friend just lying in the road. Well, it's a touching reunion.
Still ain't caught up, I take it.
It's a tad better.
Tad?
Yeah.
I still need to turn it down more?
Maybe a little bit more. And I think you'll be fine then. Maybe like 5% lower.
Okay, there.
Sees what's left of the rippling walls. Years of work undone in an instant. In the calamity.
I guess the roll button. Whoops, okay, fuck it. I mean, all that fixed it.
Survivor. No, ma'am. It's a gas fella. Forced out from underground. Kid pops him good. Fella got a piece of him, though.
Yeah, it's better.
I feel like I can't win today on so many levels.
What? I was answering your question.
No, I mean that it's just. I mean that it's just better.
Well, the game is a little loud.
Kid just rages
so.
for a while.
Are you able to hear me when I'm talking over everything else?
Yes.
Okay.
Whoa.
What? Cat?
Yeah.
Rowdy or Jet? Or Jet? Yeah, it's totally gonna be Jet. Rowdy or Spike?
It's Rowdy.
Okay. Alright, so we're not gonna get into anything about why I'm having such a shit day, but let's talk about something.
Disney sucks.
I fucking break everything on the screen.
An old repeater falls out.
Open topic.
Aim to get from the gods.
I don't remember how to use it.
Oh.
Have to do. Got a hold of.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right.
Oh man, it's interesting because there's not that much going on right now.
Not exactly, no. It's kind of a weird thing.
The newest thing going on really is what, Suicide Squad, and I don't care.
Well, neither one. Here's the thing with Suicide Squad. I think Suicide Squad is only even semi-relevant if A, you're attached to some of the actors that are in it, or B, you liked the original fucking Suicide Squad, which, let's be honest, neither one of us really did. Like, as far as the comics.
Kids worked up quite a thirst by now, so that
my
fountain
God.
gets real inviting.
So
As someone who likes DC, I can just say this: like, none of the DC films recently have done it for me.
Sometimes you just need a drink.
Like, I thought Justice League was trash,
oh shit.
and then I thought everything Snyder did was definitely trash.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, even if I guess air quote Gunn made something okay,
Something okay. Gotta love
is that
shit.
really good enough? I mean,
well, I don't know.
if-
Good enough for what? I guess
It's a
would be.
wonder the old saloon still
For people
stands.
to be giving as much praise as they have, like, I mean, are DC fans so
He says foot
ripped
inside one of
and
Salami's
used to getting
greatest
utter
warriors.
garbage poured on them
Inside's
that
only the bartender.
adequate is
lemonade
good
guy.
enough?
I mean, but is this a question you really need to ask in light of recent shit?
I'm just pointing it out as a standard issue.
Oh, so just a general
Trusty
question.
shield.
Okay.
It's a general question. In like when you see these kind of reactions where, you know, the crowd goes mild, and you're kind of sitting there going, yeah, but who really cares? Like, what is this offering that would make me give a crap
Jack
about
and
it?
not a fuck, I guess.
And it's kind of where I am. It's like, well, one, I didn't like what DC tried to do with Snyder.
No, it
Yeah.
wasn't really our thing. To be fair.
I mean, when you make me compliment Whedon with any degree of more competency than another human-style creature,
A human
I
style.
usually have a great deal of contempt for you at that point. So
Windbag starts
I
to
thought
turn
it was a
plastic.
complete and utter failure since he was involved. I wasn't that impressed with Whedon's interpretation, though I'd say he understood the characters better.
Kind of sad, ain't it?
He
Squirts start coming.
genuinely seemed to have a better grasp on who Batman is and just how stupid some of the scenes that Snyder constructed made the characters. Like, here's a group of complete psychopaths because I think everything's a bleak hellscape.
The Bastion out the window. It's a bit of a drop.
And he couldn't even do a good job with a bleak hellscape called a zombie film.
Ooh.
He gets a good look at
He's the
things
kind of
when he's
director
down.
that the further we get away from any of his works, the more he's going to become Ed Wood.
And it ain't broke.
You know what I'm saying?
I think so, yeah.
Like, people will look back and go, people took this guy serious?
Kid Spy's a good perch for some
And
target practice.
they kind of laugh and lampoon his
Knows
stuff.
he should draw the
'Cause-
string all the way back.
You know, I get a lot of people really like the Watchmen film.
Wasn't long before the kid could loose an arrow.
But-
Straight and true.
I have a feeling that a good chunk of those people didn't read the book.
Probably not.
And that's not to say that there's much different between the... There is differences, but in general, there's not much difference between the two, in my opinion. It's just that they watched the film and they thought somehow this is the man who makes the comic style movies, and it's like, it's just a man who copies things. Imagine if actually talented people cared enough to try.
Yeah.
The kid pockets a memento from the breaker.
And I'll put it this way, is that it was just a knockoff Justice League made by small petty men.
I mean, what am I going to fucking say? Oh shit!
That is, as far as I'm concerned, kind of was the starting point of the death sentence of DC Comics.
You want to unpack that a little bit for people if they happen to be listening?
Bad news is the aim of the kid.
Well, one, it's an opinion. Two, I don't care if you can point to other business practices.
Motherfucker.
It's a creative death, I would say.
Okay.
In that you can kind of see where they just started going down this bleak,
Jeez.
happyless, or unpleasant, happyless,
I love it.
unpleasant road where they went from what made their characters stand out and iconic to discount Marvel, which, love it or hate it, when you think about the core elements of what made DC different than Marvel, it really does kind of affect it, because they treated their characters as being truly timeless, where Marvel just kind of threw things at the wall and were a bit more experimentational.
Kind of just hoped things worked in some cases out.
And they were a little bit more air quote edgy. But they also used characters that were a little bit more or newer. So they tended to do a lot of this with newer characters.
Fair.
So Watchmen just kind of, in my opinion, I like to codify it as that,
Okay, do what
was
you gotta
where
right next to the
DC made this decision where they're like, well, we're gonna go down this road, and we're going to basically just do the Watchmen style shit, which over time seeped into more and more of its creatives, more and more of what people thought comics are supposed to be. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Zack Snyder started especially to do a lot of damage to DC. I don't really give a shit what useless excuse they give the man. He's as creatively bankrupt as Alan Moore.
Okay then.
One sip of the spirit.
Except he doesn't think he's a class 5 dark wizard. So I guess he doesn't have magic on his side. Really, I grew up at a time where Batman, still was a detective and not just a punch man in bat suit.
Well, put it slightly less bluntly, he was more a detective and less a vigilante.
Well, he was definitely vigilante. It's just
I said less a vigilante, though. He was kind of a detective first, I guess.
Yeah,
to put it.
he was a Sherlock Holmes character. Or he was supposed to, that's what he developed it over time.
Yeah.
Supposed to be more like Sherlock.
Oh shit! Leave me alone, you fuckers!
But you can see where a lot of the
Jeez.
how to put it,
Put a windbag in here.
where the infection kind of started seeping in really
That's the way to
bad.
put it, honestly.
And I can't 100% blame it on him, but I can definitely say, hey, here's a person that did a lot of damage. And I had a lot of people say, hey, I'm not a DC Comics fan. I don't care what they do to the DC Comics characters. I want it to be bleak, gray affairs of sadness and misery, like a reflection of their lives, apparently.
Yikes.
I'm being hyperbolic.
I know!
But,
I know you are. Ow. Shit. I wish I'd picked that up.
To a large extent, though, that's one of the big things and why I have so much contempt for Snyder and his work. And I get chuckles every time someone goes, oh, but he's gotta be doing this other thing, and I'm like, it's Zack Snyder. Everything ends up the same.
I mean, kind of, unfortunately.
He's like the less talented J.J. Abrams.
That's
Lens
really
flare.
sad when you gotta say that,
Again,
Yikes.
it's personal opinion and preference, but
Takes a chunk of alloy.
when I think of some of these individuals who've done as much damage as like he's done,
Oh, shit.
and then I can positively pick out features from other people who were just as bad,
Yeah.
if not worse in some cases, it makes me sad. So, yeah. DC, it's sad because I actually really did like DC Comics. And I did
Okay, this needs...
collect a lot of Marvel, but I always liked DC.
Yeah. Ow.
And as I got
I
older,
fell through the floor. Ow.
I've appreciated it more. So it's sad to see what they've done to, the grand
Agreed.
old comic. Especially some of these characters, they've been around for so long.
Yeah.
Though I would never suggest people to read the really early Batman stuff.
No?
If you really want to read early Batman, just get the Shadow. He's
Well, I mean, yeah.
a blatant ripoff of the Shadow.
Nope. I gotta get away from it.
So if you want something from that period of time, just get some of the old Shadow works, and there you go. I mean, he's just the Shadow with a bat motif. So, yeah, it is sad to see, but this is not another rant critique of, what did they even miss? Snyder
Snyder
wipes his mask thing and collects money off idiots. I think that's definitely what it was
That's
called.
definitely what you called it. I didn't call it much of anything, to be honest.
So,
It didn't even hit my radar because I never even watched the original,
well, how I put it in that regard.
God,
The only reason I even realized, well, I'm actually one of the people who is happy when Zack, because I never liked his style,
Fair.
and I thought it was a terrible selection for DC.
Well, I remember you having some serious issues, I mean, with the whole Man of Steel thing,
Oh, God.
Defines the core to the war.
Basically, when you...
He steals the city's heart.
Oh, shit.
If you want a good review of The Man of Steel, Zack Snyder, I'd actually suggest people check out Spoonie One.
Starting to fall.
Yeah,
And
before
watch
he went
this.
completely batshit.
He makes some really good points in there.
That core kid's
Oh, shit.
That's one of those things I could definitely say. He would probably make them in a more succinct way than I will.
Yeah, probably. At the time, he had a much more spot-on way of looking at it, I think. I'm not
Also,
fucking with any of you. I'm just gonna leave.
The screaming and antics make it more entertaining
This
than
is
mine.
true. Ow.
But I think one of the big things, especially with,
At last, the Skyway.
can we even call it a cinematic universe?
I don't know,
At
to
this
be
point.
perfectly
Where
honest.
it needs to go.
I mean, if we called it a schizophrenic cinematic universe, then maybe.
Schizophrenic
Stranger
cinematic
still.
universe. Ow.
There's no tonal
This dude is forever just
consistency.
landing on his face.
And I mean, that's part of
Anybody
the
else survive?
the greater issue with the movies,
Yeah.
if you will, instead of just
Sure I will.
talking about
Find
the consistency or let's say this, the staying power of DC.
We talk for
That's not so much the thing. It's the
bit of
consistency for
Bastion's
the
power
general
in that
audience
crest.
that doesn't care.
enough to point the way
If
to
you're
the
gonna
course.
go with Snyder, then you commit to him.
All I tell
But
him
you
is
realize
boy,
that he's a
he's
wrecking
walking
ball
there
of a man who will
watch.
leave nothing but scorched earth behind him, and he will systematically annihilate the
Just like that,
longevity of all
Bastion
those
comes
characters.
alive,
Yeah.
starts growing again.
And I'm like, you're not even gonna be able
Kid's
to
gotta
do
put
a
its power to
general
good use.
reset to escape it.
Now the Bastion
Without
is
the
sending
howling
far
of his,
into the
like,
wild
I don't actually buy anything Snyder cultist. They'll watch the movie as long as they happen to have the streaming service, and then don't buy anything. Yeah, 'cause those are the best purchasers, you know.
But we can
The
hold
ones that
our
don't
own
buy
when we
your
have
shit. It's the same thing that Watchmen overall did to DC. You know,
Yeah.
artistic merit aside, if you consider it artistic, it's these little things that undermine the characters. I mean, I'm not a fan of James Gunn. Don't get me wrong. When they announced that they were going to do, oh god, what is that? What were they called? Star-Lord was in it.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
And when they announced that, the only thing I remembered about it, and you got to think, is I was collected comics for a long time.
Yeah.
So when they announced it, I'm like, there's a stupid raccoon with a giant gun in a tree in that team. And this is depending on which version you're thinking of, because there was at one point a fox person and a pirate-looking dude.
It was a fox? What the hell? I don't even remember
You don't
that.
know what's out there waiting for.
It's a long story. There's the original Guardians of the Galaxy and then the newer one.
Okay.
And I laugh because these were not like even. They weren't like Black Panther, who's a C-lister. These are like Z-list characters. These are like Jessica Jones level characters. Now, the people knew they existed, but they were. That was kind of like if you were
The
in the know
intersection between
thing.
bad and wrong. And he lands on his face again. Jeez.
Oh, that's usually where I
Down
land.
one of these twisted streets. But which one? He heads for the squirt steps. Won't be no future.
Superman chin of CG. We're not even gonna go there.
We're not.
I won't.
You already went
I'm not-
there.
I'm not serious enough about my role, so I won't even shave.
We got here.
Just about anything.
Hey, that's much better.
This.
Come here.
It's quick for slicing and light enough to throw.
As far as I'm concerned, Christopher Reeves is still Superman.
Well, I mean, and there's something to be said too for, like, you know, what you grew up with, what you knew from your childhood.
Well, it's more on the character level.
No, I agree. I'm just saying that's a factor too.
Now, I know a lot of people like Henry Cavill. That's fine.
Yeah, that's whatever.
Especially if you got something for him with being shirtless. Good for you. But when you describe a comic character as if playing them like it's like having sex with random women,
Wait, what?
yeah, that's how he explained playing Superman. By the way,
How? But how does that even? How do you equate that? I'm very confused.
I'm still wondering why he was sitting in a comic store reading Superman to think about having sex. You know.
I don't know. That's a bit puzzling.
Like, you can go and look at some of the things Christopher Reeve said about the role, and then how he took it serious after when he was visiting children in the hospital. And you go, you know, love it or hate it, those old films, that man had damn character.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had to back then. It was a pretty big fucking deal.
So, I would say my overall issue with the DC extended universe, whatever we call it,
Look where this one-
is if they don't have a consistent tone. They picked every wrong tone possible. They picked every actor that they shouldn't have.
Ow!
They
What
picked
the hell?
every director that should have never been close to any of their properties. For as much as I dislike Snyder, he should have been working on a Marvel film.
Yeah, maybe.
And I can even tell you what one it should have been.
Yeah.
Days of Future Past. It's bleak, it's hopeless, it's about people being basically driven to nothing and
You
dying.
might have a point, actually. That might have actually worked out alright for you.
Inside the forge. Keegan
So
fine-tuned those
you end up in
instruments
that kind of situation. So when I talk about these films, it's that I'm looking at them from an overall perspective. Like, are these helping in the long run? No. Are these actors the type of people that you want to go out and talk
Good length of meat gut.
about your
That bows
characters
like
to
new
help you in the long run? No, I couldn't actually list one of the DC actors that is someone you actually want
Like my
talking in
friends
public.
looking fit to keep on fighting.
I mean, your Flash is a dude who choked a woman that was pregnant on camera.
Oh, yeah. That was.
Your Cyborg
Ooh, boy.
is a whiny bitch because he didn't get his way.
And you know what? That was such a twisted fucking mess. It's hard. I couldn't even tell halfway through that who the fuck was telling the truth and who was lying. Because there's all the shit going on about fucking,
Never much cared for that big wide grin of his.
I just
Let's
forgot his
put it
name. There's
this
all the
way.
shit going on about Joss Whedon. There's all the shit going on with the Cyborg. Like, I couldn't even tell who the fuck was lying, who was telling the truth.
Well, he got paid. He got paid for his performance,
Yes.
not the edit of the damn film.
True.
Two, you seen how long this film is,
Yeah.
and you know that they required it to be cut down to the theatrical level.
Yeah, that's also true.
Plus, you have a film that, you know, if you actually paid attention to it and you tried to, you know, have the characters make sense and not seem like, you know, homicidal psychopaths weren't running around getting distracted by shinies, then you can tell why there were
And there he is.
reshoots and added parts in there. Just using one, like, if you've seen the film and you've had the misfortune of seeing either or both, the part with the, I don't even remember what it's called, the giant robot Batman's piloting, where,
I don't even remember. Sorry.
what was his name? Yeah, both these films are so forgettable, it's actually causing me to forget names of characters. Thanos' retarded metallic brother. Where he's trying to murder Batman while he's there, and then all the other characters are just kind of acting like, hey, we got random dumb shit to do.
Wow.
I gotta go grab a sword. The fastest man on Earth is gonna go push her sword so she can get it.
Yeah, rather
Instead
than
of, you
saving
know,
the guy getting his ass whooped.
saving the mortal man being physically beaten to death by a demigod. Yeah, the only guy in super amounts of danger. We're not gonna worry about him, cause tee-hee, funny scene. And then half of the reshoots were just freaking ads of dialogue, so it didn't look like people were being cowards or stupid. And, this film, the fact that there are two cuts of it, the fact that there are multiple cuts that have been put in theaters of a number of these DC films. And I'm not saying like, oh, well, here's some old versions or cuts versions or added or dropped content from some old film. I'm like, relatively new films.
Yeah.
Because some director goes out and starts whining because he realized he can get another payday, and then they rile up people who are angry at a corporation because
The little Zolwood oil
their
in that
cult
blade
leader got
shines like a light.
walked away from it, but they blame the company for the person leaving.
Because that makes fucking sense, right?
You know,
Million
the whole situation with DC is so stupid. And this is before we even march into the hell version of a marsh to
Up north
fight
is where
in
the gas fella formed.
that's called the comics that DC produces.
That's an interesting way to lay that out.
Because this is a bog of bad decisions. Like, it's a perfect reflection of the films. Schizophrenic, dishonest, people that you don't like and shouldn't be talking in public, producing things that you hope will make money,
No
keep
white gas
the
fellas
business
all dress
going,
alike.
baby.
Kids wondering the same.
No, I would say most of them have political agendas.
I mean, surprise?
At this point, you know, DC just should shut down. They should be like, we're gonna go 20 years without making a single film involving any of these characters, because right now we can't do anything right. Give Ta-Nehisi Coates his money, give JJ his money, close the whole damn thing down, and walk the hell away. Because there is no good coming out of any of this. Because what DC fans are you serving?
Kids. Oh man, I mean, what do you even say to that? Because you know the answer. If you okay, let me put it this way:
Here's the whole place.
if you're the type of person
tough
that's
to fall.
asking this question,
Kids ready to
then
go.
you already
Just take
know
outs right
what
where
the
it
answer
started.
is. You know?
It's just one of those. It's just a really basic floor of question in my mind. Is that I look at it and I'm like, okay, who is buying this? Who is this for?
Nobody would be
'Cause-
my guess.
Because you're not. The closest representations in the
comes back,
movies,
just like
and
he
it's
knew he
basically feels like you
Cool
search
homies
through a
in the
book and
back.
said,
The money
okay, here's some of these random characters. We'll add some quirkiness to them. With
Yeah.
the new Suicide
The
Squad.
windbags used to be
The
all
soft
right,
reboot
then the
sequel
calamity took the
thing.
floor out from under 'em.
And that I don't even think it's performing that well, if I recall. It's been a little while since I checked.
Fair.
And then I'm Not Starfire and the book thing, and oh, Tim Drake's gay, but he's bisexual, but he's gay because he'll never be in a relationship with a woman again. Goodbye, 22 years of history.
Makes perfect sense, don't it?
And on and on and on and on. You know, this is one of those things. As someone who read a lot of DC Comics, collected a lot of DC Comics,
Kid doesn't
I
get
remember when they
fair,
announced
he decides what we
Batman,
build next.
White Knight, and I just rolled my eyes and I said, well, this is exactly what I expect after they've done everything else,
A lot of
including
things that are
Watchmen.
fixing up in this world.
Just the
It's dark
next
right here.
level of let's sodomize Batman.
Oof. I mean, I hate you gotta put it that way, but I can't say you're wrong either.
Taking stupid fan theories that Batman is actually the insane one and he makes people insane around him and he's the actual bad guy.
It just that's
And
the type of
then-
shit that the Joker or freaking like what was it? Hugo Strange from fucking Arkham. It's the type of shit they said.
And that's because they're twisted and manipulative people.
Yeah.
But
the whole
that's
fucking
what
point.
White Knight was, effectively.
Oof.
And I'm like, okay, well, at this point, what's left of your character? Batman, he's nothing. There's nothing good left about this character. What's heroic about him? I'm like, okay, I get it. It's not a air quote canon story like air quote all these other stories. But you know, he took part in the one Justice League story where they were brainwashing villains and occasionally killing them, which also inexplicably, I can't remember if Alan Moore was involved in it, but I wouldn't be surprised because it featured rape in it. So,
hey, watch the stream for me for a sec. I gotta check something.
But
you hear me?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Don't forget High School Batman. Oh,
did we just get a person in the chat?
Cold Fusion's made a comment. He's because I think this is. It was from the I'm Not Starfire, and I was talking about some of the other things.
I need to actually link this in some of the chat.
Because he's like Cold Fusion Waffles. Don't forget High School Batman, who is a CCP deep cover spy.
Did we have any other comments we missed?
There's some others in there.
You should probably keep an eye on the chat, man.
Sitting armchair, sitting in the comic store, reading Superman seems like the least sexy thing you can do beyond maybe reading like Snowflake in Safe Space.
Oh, God.
Hey, look, Cavill might really be into those too.
Oh man, I really kind of hope not. Oh, jeez.
He seems like a decent enough
Hey,
person.
W, I see you're in the chat. You can speak up.
Oh, you guys were just rocking.
Oh man, fucking
up your groove here.
It is okay.
I'm just complaining.
Let me know if you're getting feedback.
Like the more the merrier, right? Jeez.
I hear like a lunch, a cafeteria in the background.
A cafeteria?
That's how it came across. Does it sound
weird.
like a cafeteria?
Okay. All right, I'm gonna head over on this little
A
thing here.
smoking guy just busted in.
Picked up traces of other cores. The kid was
A
out.
smoking guy. What's this?
He looks like, that Abraham Lincoln Patriot guy on the I Want You, son thing. And he's got smoking and patriotism. And he has a minute to watch. And he said hi.
Well, hello.
And if you don't know, it's the smoking patriot.
Oh, I gathered, given your generalized description of shit.
Better days, the melting pot
You mean
will
my
seal
fabulous
tighter than
way of
the skin
doing
on
it.
a squirt.
Sure,
But
if
I'm
you
not
say
complaining about DC Comics.
So. Oh, I just landed on those guys. Ow.
Stop doing that.
I ain't my fucking idea. The game did it.
And then,
Of all the plans to survive the conflict,
there's an issue
Stab
I have, with Alan Moore.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever read any of his stuff consistently?
No, actually. Ow.
He has a weird habit of adding drape to everything.
Why?
I don't know.
Man, people said Frank Miller was bad. Damn.
Frank Miller spends 10 pages talking about a woman. Alan Moore's like, I know what I'm going to do. Class 5 Dark Wizard.
Oh, God.
cuts down every stab weed like he's
Yeah,
gonna
that
be a prize.
sounds depressingly predictable.
Yeah,
Shit.
it seems to be his thing, and I'm
damn
not
it, wrong
really
button.
sure why. Like,
Get out of my face.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I think he still has done some of that stuff recently.
Is he one of those like comic books dudes who has this weird and unspecified problem?
I don't know. I don't know him well enough. But
I know
it
there's-
kind of seems
I
like
know,
it, maybe.
I know there's a lot of people who really like his work, and
I've never
Such-
understood it.
but I don't understand. I don't understand him or his appeal. Because he looks like a crazy hobo all the time.
Although, like, in fairness, a lot of prominent, well, at least one other prominent author I can think of looks like
Ow.
well,
Bitch.
if George R. R. Martin approached me while I was walking by the train station, I would walk past him.
He
The hell
throws
is
a
this?
switch.
Damn it! Why is this demented grandpa talking to me?
Oh, God. Why, game? Why would you do that?
You know,
I pull a switch just like, what could possibly go wrong? Okay, fucking Bubsy.
Gauge starts lifting from the core ever so slow.
The hell's this?
Josh, if you're going to do that reference as the hulking muscular definition of freedom and America. Okay, sure, man.
Holy fuck!
If you want to go there, okay.
I don't really want to even consider that.
The little guy showed us.
I don't know. I'm actually surprised that comics are still somewhat being sold at this point.
Well, yeah, but look at most of what's selling is back issues and collections, man.
Which makes me worry somewhat for my local shop.
I think they've got plenty of other stuff because they're selling manga and action figures and fucking all kinds of Japanese import like action figures and model kits. I think they'll do all right.
I'm half convinced that the continued existence of American comics is something of a deep state plot at this point.
They said get those kids to fight the commies, Nazis,
Nazis.
spacemen. No,
Maybe it was all
taxpayers.
one from the beginning.
Ah.
It could be.
X-Files music.
Aw.
I want to believe, but I don't know. At this point, it's just like an ongoing
Holy
mystery
shit!
and a joke,
Out of my way, bitch.
which I hate to see. But at the very
Out of my
least,
face.
I guess some people at least got a film they enjoyed recently.
Did they?
And,
When was that?
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, the Suicide Squad one.
You know, actually, I need to show you guys Legend of the Guardian sometime because that's actually a Zack Snyder movie.
No, get the fuck out of my way. Ow, ow.
I don't know what contract this dude walked into that they made him after he did 300, I want to say, do a movie about talking owls, but there you go.
This is about the point in the game where I want the music to be fucking louder. Because I love this fucking music in this game.
Nothing wrong with that.
Get out of my way.
I don't know.
Because there's so much balalaika fucking music in this game.
Well, it's not a common instrument.
No.
But
Not
I
in the
generally
States,
stay,
anyway.
Stay away from his
Are you doing a game right now?
What's that?
You're playing a doing a game right now?
I'm playing Bastion, actually.
Well, yes, but the music is it like the music or something?
Ah.
I remember one time when I was
Oh, shit. Ow. Oh, Jesus. Alright, look, shut up, you.
Went downtown to go dinner, and there was a dude in the stairwell. I'm sure this guy was on some kind of amazing drug, but he was playing a didgeridoo in the stairwell.
That's impressive.
That's some ignorant stuff right
Good lord.
Get off me, bastard.
I can't talk about most of the stuff that I experienced in German cities.
not without getting
Most of
censored.
it.
It's just it'll get censored.
Without Mama Susan coming down and be like, oh dear God, I gotta censor all of this.
The whole thing
Thank
about
God
the children bullshit.
Thank God I'm against censorship.
Susan Wojcicki or something.
Yeah, who starts out every time she talks about censorship, talking about how she doesn't like censorship.
I guess she's just all, like completely in it to win it.
Yeah.
And most of the time, her argument is, it's bad when states censor, so we should do it.
So,
Yeah, 'cause
so
that
that's
makes
why they've
totally
been censoring at the behest of states.
Yeah, it's
I'm sure you saw those email leaks.
every time I see
Like
stuff.
California was just literally telling YouTube to take. Was it YouTube or was it? California was literally just like issuing censorship requests to social media.
Yeah.
Just straight up.
Well, because California is a fucking hellhole and everybody knows it. That's why so many people keep leaving.
What's what the Biden administration does
I
too.
still remember the look on his
They even
face.
admitted it recently.
They did.
Where they're like, yeah, we just tell them to censor stuff all the time,
The old world,
and they do it.
but the new world.
And it's like,
Please, they're like Daddy Biden. I'm happy to help you out with this. That was my Bill Clinton impression, I guess. I don't know.
where's Monica?
Oh no.
She's safe, Bill. Far away from you. Oh man, it was kind of funny to watch Bill Clinton
Turns
get
out those
skewered
old
the last
bones
couple of
still have some
years.
Spark in 'em.
Imagine what it'd be like in 5 years with Biden.
No.
I mean, it was really funny watching the Democrats pretend to care about sexual harassment for maybe 5 minutes.
Folks voyaged across the boundless
So
sea,
difficult
found
for them.
Zelaya.
It's like, oh, geez, this person did things. And then it's like every freaking thing with Biden is him being creepy with other people.
Fucking
Next
too
time,
right.
send your spirits
It's like,
alive.
oh, how do we tap around this?
And what they do is just tell the media, just don't report this, and it'll go away. And the media doesn't report it.
Yeah. The funniest thing would be if Cuomo tries to run next presidential election.
Because there's no way you win, but it could fuck up everything.
The rumor I've heard is he got taken out because he was a threat to Kamala.
Oh,
Who's
Not because
fucking
they cared
surprised?
a single damn about like women. It was because it was a potential threat to Kamala.
oh man.
She's a threat to herself.
No argument here, but look, this is like the little logical like figures running through the minds of Democrats.
like-
That's because there are no logic figures running through their minds.
Let's take the lady who couldn't win a single district in her own state.
Christ. Oh,
Yeah, she
Couldn't get
really like that right.
one freaking vote to save her life.
I mean, if she gets like primaried by Tulsi, that would be very funny.
That would be the best thing that happened to the Democrats. Let's be honest.
I would just be I'd just be laughing.
Windbag ran.
Because people probably be like, well, what about if Biden runs for a second term? And I'm like, you gotta convince me he's gonna be there after 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, this way, I'm not sure it's gonna last a year out.
Like, I actually just saw the thing where he returned to the White House and got lost.
Well, you know he like so. There's all these there's a small little crisis happening in Afghanistan right now, and he went back to Norway.
Yeah. So he could get shot up with super drugs, probably.
I don't even throw
And
him.
he comes back.
right now.
Are they he did it again? Yesterday?
Yeah, he's back in Norway.
Oh my god. He literally returned to the White House yesterday.
Yeah, no, he went back.
Jesus
Oh.
Christ.
I'm like, at some point, doesn't this count as elder abuse?
I'm not sure he spent the night in the White House.
Still others use the place.
Considering how bad he looked when he got there, I'm not shocked. He got lost in an open lawn with one door in front of him, and I'm like, this is not good when the Secret Service agents waving him towards the door and he wanders off.
Something like a take this fall by the hand.
Oh.
Go ahead with directions to walking, please.
It's like, where's fake doctor lady?
Fake doctor. Oh shit! Damn it.
You know what one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
Have you seen the because her Ed D thesis got leaked. Have you actually seen that?
Oh, I would probably enjoy reading
It is
that.
like pinnacle of content.
What's it about? In a
It's
general.
about some school in Alabama, I want to say.
Oh, of course.
It includes at least one portion where she fails to do basic math.
Oh.
She's like, half the students in this classroom are white, and the other half are black, and the other
Are
half
they
are
now?
Hispanic. Wait, what?
Really? Are they?
It's
Jackass.
like, so you're a teacher, huh?
You little bastard.
This reminds me of when I worked in this school system, and someone's like, "Well, how many white and black kids do you have in there?" And I'm like, "Well, we don't really give out
We
that
don't actually
information.
check that because we're
No,
not
it's-
psychopaths.
Also, it's not really a thing we generally do."
Because we're not the Seattle
Oh,
school
shit.
district.
But I'm like,
Ow.
you know, the problem with boiling it down to that is,
Oh, that's how
have you
you
looked?
go, motherfucker.
Have you lived in America long? Do you know how many mixed race kids there are?
Yeah.
Like, Oh my god. It's like when Elizabeth Warren is one of the whitest people in the country.
You know what I love about Elizabeth Warren?
She
Nothing.
stole all Bernie stuff.
So Elizabeth Warren is white enough to join the SS.
Yes.
She's whiter than I am.
She's whiter than some of the SS.
Yes.
You know, the thing I thought was hilarious was I lived in Germany for a good chunk of my life. So you go to German school. You get a lot taught to you about how horrible Nazis are. And one of the things I thought was funny when I got to the States, there was the one drop rule thing, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that the Germans were inspired by it? But you know what the response to it was?
What?
It was too extreme.
Yeah, the Germans were like, whoa, wait, we need to slow this down.
They're like, whoa!
Calm down, they're psychos.
It's like, one drop? Holy cow, that's insane. The Nazis were saying this.
That's pretty bad.
And then, you know, all those years later, I'm working in the school system, and you could tell the people who had issues with race, because they always boiled things down to one A and B. No context, no consideration for anything. It was always, how many white people are there? And then how many of them black style people? And it's like, dear God.
Do you people hear yourselves talk occasionally? Like, do you hear like the words coming out of your mouth?
I'm not convinced they do.
Why are you so obsessed with what colors things are? It's like going to a, like, get a pair of pants and being irritated that they're usually blue. Especially if they're jeans, you know? Like, damn it, why aren't they polka dot? So I always was bothered by that. Which ties into, it's like, man, every time the Democrats talk about something anymore, right? They start going on about one thing, or like racism or sexism or sexual harassment, and I can just look over at Joe Biden's actual existence.
You look at like yeah, you just look at the Biden family and you're like, okay, yep, this is projection.
Well, there's a problem with corruption in the United States. Oh, really?
Look directly at that motherfucker over there.
Looks at Joe Biden being put in charge of the oil exchange program, where he actually, only company he hired to deal with it that was private was his brother's company.
Gee.
Literally every bit of his career is involved with some form of corruption.
Big surprise, right?
And it's like, you think you could have picked a better candidate. Like, you couldn't possibly be this desperate.
It's because the Democratic bench is incredibly sclerotic. Like, who the hell are their candidates, right? They got Kamala Harris, who, I guess to her credit, she's the sitting vice president. That's about
You
the
mean the leech that managed to tie on to a dying old man?
I mean, I wouldn't be. I'll let you characterize it that way.
Well, nothing about her character, I mean, besides the fact that she basically imprisoned young black men to work basically as slave labor for nothing offenses. But, you know, she did kind of just ride a boring, tired, racist old man to office when she couldn't even win in her own district.
Just keeps on failing upwards.
Yeah.
But then
She was obviously the candidate that the Democrats
somebody gets to
wanted.
the core before the kid.
And then they realized she couldn't win.
Yes, and then they were like, oh my, and then Tulsi Gabbard just like shanked her. Like this,
this is
it was like a prison stabbing.
If it was an MMA fight, it would have been one of the most brutal fights you'd ever seen in your life. You would have had to get counseling after what she did to her on stage.
It would have looked like Johnny Knoxville versus
That'd have been funny. I would have watched that.
you know, that's a jacket.
Nope, but I'm gonna be checking it out.
I'm not sure if it's in Jackass 3. It's in one of the Jackass movies. Is Johnny Knoxville tries to fight them.
Oh my god.
Yeah. He just, it's bad. It's bad.
Oh, it sounds great. Oh man. But yeah, just talking about candidates. I mean, that they could even fill, really. Of known quantities, you have, well, I don't think Bernie's gonna run again. He's been basically corrupted by being purchased 2 elections in a row.
Bernie has been bought out so many times. I mean, God,
I don't think his constituency, even as batshit as they are gonna buy that too many more times.
So, he's not really a viable. Joe Biden, I cannot possibly see him going for, even if he's alive, another run.
I can't imagine him trying to go for a second term, and I also can't imagine who would want him at that point. Not after everything already.
Considering that he's underwater and push polling right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really
that's hard to do.
If I'm not sure if you noticed how bad the polls were off last election. Okay, these are the same people who were doing the polling, and they have Joe.
Oh yeah. Oh, and you're oversampling Democrats and doing that on purpose.
No kidding. Air travel.
Even some of the
his actual approval rate probably.
It's low enough that if it was basically anyone else, his cabinet would throw him out of office. It's that bad. So let's see. Bernie's out. Definitely Biden isn't gonna make another run. That's assuming he's around by then.
It's gonna be Kamala Harris trying to stay in office.
And if it's Kamala, the void.
The person who's there right now. Like realistically, it's gonna be.
But she's got like even less personality than Hillary Clinton.
Unless you get primary shot. I mean, like potentially, like, I mean, the problem is like, okay, so everybody I guess would like to see Tulsi Gabbard like primary the hell out of her, but I don't think that's realistic.
I don't know if the Democratic Party would allow it.
They wouldn't.
They're gonna protect her with superdelegates at the very least. So,
like, the Democratic primary process is set up so they get the first.
They always get who they want. The popular vote has no power over them. So it's more than likely going to be her. But, I mean, the problem was we were approaching this as reasonable people. So they're definitely going to be going with her. Unless she pulls a fast one and goes, I've been president now and vice president. Bye. I'm going to go write books and cash in the checks.
Which she absolutely would probably be better served to do.
But assuming she doesn't do that.
Moving next to Obama.
Fucking right.
Well, she'd probably be able to at that point. And
he's a regular politician, so the president of the United States makes about $200,000 salary. So I'm not sure how Obama suddenly has $60 million.
Book deals and bullshit.
The traditional way.
A proposal I've seen actually to cut down on what is clearly a form of graft is if Congress can pass a law, all the states would pass corresponding laws saying that you are not allowed to give a politician or somebody involved in politics an advance on their book.
Yeah.
Like if you write a book as a politician or as like a national security guy or whatever, you have to get you have to make any money on that as royalties. You can't get an advance.
Or simply,
it's like people are just laundering money. They're just like laundering money to these people through book laws.
Yeah, basically.
Like there are people who got 7-figure advances for books that the Maiden's War sold more copies.
Well, or he got burned in China.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's obvious corruption. But let's look at it this way. I think, considering just how poor of a job Biden's done, the fact that it's probably not going to change because they don't seem that that savvy as a pair when it comes to the economy or politics.
Kid keeps
And
I'm not sure
Then-
what
Survive the
Harris's qualifications are to run anything beyond infectious as a prosecutor wants.
Yeah, I don't think she has any really.
Huh.
She was in the
So-
Senate, which I
So
mean,
he didn't
that
find the core
doesn't
that
mean
time. But that ain't about to stop
That's
us.
why we elected Obama. So I look at it like this. I'm like, okay, well, at that point, you're not going to have the same hyped up
You
rage
could always see the stars.
that was
We just never
there,
could reach 'em.
where people were just screaming "Orange Man bad" over and over again. Now you've had
The
people.
thing is that now that you've had the alternative to Orange Man bad, like I think
Orange
there's
Man
an awful lot of people out there right now who would be perfectly happy with Trump making as many mean tweets as he
Kid
wants.
packs a special
Yeah.
surprise in
Don't let
every
him go to
one of
town,
those
uh,
arrows.
If if this is the alternative.
If the alternative is this, I'm like, I know I would personally rather have DeSantis if he chose to be the person. Mostly because there won't have been a hype up to hating Trump, which we've seen that has affected some people.
Well, I mean, also
Um,
so much of this, the hatred for Republican presidents is just generated by their allies in the media. Like, watch if
Basically.
DeSantis shows up and gets elected, people are going. There will be columns out, like journalists will be writing columns like oh DeSantis, like Trump was a saint, like
Oh yeah,
No place
they,
to trap a shingle.
right, like
well they
all this-
did that
Tread
with
light,
George
Bush.
shoot straight.
I got no
And they-
fucking idea how this became a political stream.
Else take a nasty fall.
It's about
They train
basically
themselves by
Biden
clearing out
being
the
dumb.
targets, while
Probably
And
the
a
not.
giant poo-poo head. Alright, let's see. I had to pick a topic that I think is
trapper knows.
open enough and not just me complaining about my own pet peeves.
I mean, it's
Um,
our stream. Who gives a fuck?
Well, if there's going to be three of us, we should all be able to talk about something, right? I'm not so narcissistic that I'm like, naturally I have the best amount to talk about.
Not in seriousness, anyway.
Nah, I never inherited that element of my father.
Oh
Oh, jeez.
shit, that's not good.
It's like the dry season, you know. We're getting closer to, winter, but they're not really amping anything up for it yet. And we just haven't had a lot of movie
Oh, shit.
releases.
Ow!
Look, anyone
Hollywood is kind
cares.
of dying. Like COVID kind of put the nails in the coffin of that whole industry.
Yeah,
Like,
I
what they're
just-
coming out with is just not special, and people
Well,
are
like
kind
the
of out
few
of it.
things
Like,
that have come out, like Suicide Squad, even the most, I'll say, I guess, supportive people on that have still been pretty much like, it was a movie.
it exists, and it didn't shank my mom, so it's acceptable, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Didn't
something like that.
destroy some treasure mythology.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of where we are at the moment. Is that when it comes to pop culture, the signs of Hollywood's slow march to its own deathbed are really kind of boring and sad. They're just
it's
not.
almost- It's almost gotten to the point where it's like hard to get outraged about this stuff anymore, just because it's just such a constant.
Excuse me.
It's such a constant, and there's nothing behind it, which is usually the sign of something dying. Especially if you look back, look back at old westerns when they were the thing, and then how they slowly went and became more and more silly and poking fun at the concept, and then became deconstructionist. And I'm like, well, we've already kind
Deconstructionist
of.
westerns?
Yeah, there were deconstructionist westerns.
I must
There
have
were
never heard of
so-
those.
You don't much
What
care
the hell
to
was
see
that one?
Die
The
like this.
I know. Unfortunately, I'm very bad with Western names.
It's alright, I forget them too.
I know a lot of westerns, but I don't
one
remember
where the,
deconstruction as
the one where the
westerns.
gang was coming to go kill that dude at the high noon.
Yeah. Oh god.
I'm not. It's not recollecting.
And like basically the only person who stood by him was his Mormon, was his wife was a pacifist.
Yeah.
The rest of the
These folks
community
never
just
saw
like
Calamity.
oh, we're just gonna leave the sheriff out there to die.
Someone close.
That doesn't sound familiar. I must not have ever seen it.
I can't remember the name and it's killing me.
Was it actually called High Noon?
I don't know.
Let me give it a check real quick. I think that might be it. Hi.
Speaking of great lost opportunities in cinema, this isn't quite as egregious as them never putting the gang back together for Star Wars, but the fact we never got a Western featuring John Wayne and Clint Eastwood on the same screen.
Kid sees him there.
Oh god.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, they could have done that, right? That was a possible thing that could have
It
happened.
was. It would have
Never.
been anyway at some point.
Yeah, well, there was the height of John Wayne's career was about the same time that Clint Eastwood was becoming a thing. So that
Yeah,
would have been damn good mix.
Yeah, that would have been actually an amazing Western. Because you'd have, like, an angry Clint Eastwood dude, like, very, happy, conventional John Wayne dude. It would have just been a great movie.
It's a snag or two trying to
1952's High Noon. I believe that was it.
Huh, maybe.
Wasn't it the one that was had socialist undertones?
Ugh.
I believe so. I
Yeah.
think, like, it was involved in the production of the communist or something.
And the funny thing about it was the audience took it differently. They took it as basically being the ideal of an American, one man standing up no matter the cost.
Ah!
When everyone else
Talk about
wanted.
not getting your desired effect.
Which
And
is
then-
a fantastic own.
And then what happened is the director or the writer basically disavowed the film and had his name struck from it. It
Having a bit of a temper tantrum.
like there's nothing new under the sun when it comes to any of this, and all of these things have played out multiple ways, and we're just kind of watching yet another shade of the same thing that's played out over and over and over again, especially when it comes to superhero films.
Something like,
What's astonishing to me about superhero films is, like, Disney made the deliberate decision to kill their own job because they made Avengers Endgame and then they just decided to stop making comic books
Nor did the
for like
boy.
years.
Didn't make it.
Yeah, seems that
The
way.
movie came out when I was still living at Fort Bragg.
Oh my god.
The jaws.
This is a problem. I mean, this is one of the reasons I didn't touch on Marvel initially when I was talking about films.
Yeah.
Grady Jr.
Is that
didn't make it.
it was taking so much of Marvel and condensing it that there was no way you're gonna ever do it justice. Like, you have 80 plus years with at least 60 of those having some fantastic stories in there that if you put them to film would be amazing, and you immediately go to the freaking Infinity War.
For some fucking
The
weird
horrible
ass
thing is,
reason.
Would we?
like these movies were Marvel's were Disney's license to print money, and they decided to accelerate it. Why?
Shit.
You know, people would be happy to freaking go to Marvel movies almost indefinitely if they kept on doing the good classic storylines.
But no, they had to rush ahead as fast as possible to get to, like, basically the end of everything that was any good.
Yeah, they really
Kid does what he has to
like.
do.
Why are you rushing to failure?
I would say it has a lot to do with, let's see,
What do you say
I
to
always
the
mess his name up. Feige?
Feige.
Kevin
Kid hasn't a clue.
Feige. Has a lot to do with Feige basically displacing the former Marvel head.
Is that Joe Quesada or are you talking about
No, it was a.
like the Marvel studio
He's a
head?
proper gentleman, that man.
Yeah, I can't remember his,
His name is Solve. No
Marvel.
hiding or,
I can see
folks
the
like
guy
him
in my
have never
brain,
been
but I
Thomas
can't remember.
Saint Celandia.
Yeah.
He's relieved to see a living face or two. The kid and I introduce
Mo
ourselves in kind.
Buttermeyer? No, that
Both
wasn't
to
it.
him and to each other for the first time.
Oh, jeez. I'm really messing up names today. I'm
Yes, sir.
sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
We fought the Earth.
I remember he had a big
But that was
freaking
then.
clash with this
Things are
guy.
different between us now.
And he basically was one of the people who
Zolf
ended up
feels like
getting
a
him
second home.
fired.
He's real worried about his first
Um,
one too.
And I can definitely kind of put my finger there
Zolf offers to help
because
Skyways for the kid.
that was what was kind of holding him back.
He was born in the Tazzle terminals. The Eura sent him on a mission.
It's
to
also
use Toy
possible
City.
that I am
He's lived here ever since.
getting him mixed up with someone.
Maybe.
It's been years. Let's see. I'm trying to. Good lord.
Of course.
Walt Disney Studios
That's why
subsidiaries.
this place
Yeah,
is coming
thank you.
together. That's why things are gonna be alright.
Let's try this.
Well, look what we have here.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything. I'm probably messing his name up. But I remember there was a big to-do where they blamed him for the Black Widow films not being made, or Black Widow film not being made earlier.
The Black Widow film wasn't made. I have no idea why the Black Widow. Frankly, it's an inexplicable decision because people love Scarlett Johansson.
Well, it came across as kind of blame passing. Basically, what Feige basically did, or Feige,
Spyggy.
effectively he tarred and feathered this guy to get him out of the way by effectively making him seem like a sexist.
But they're all
Yeah, which is ridiculous because this is a corporate decision made by all these freaking people.
And it also kind of was a covering his ass moment where it's like, oh crap, I should have made one of these films, but I hadn't. And it's like, yeah, well,
It's one of those like classic focus group decisions, like, oh, this is bad. No.
This is the level of the Spider-Man problems when it comes to Sony.
In what regard exactly?
Okay. I know a lot of people love him or hate him. The first trio that came out,
Yeah.
when those
Yeah,
came out, Sony had this concept, which they ditched after the third film because Sony is so good at staying on track. They're not.
Yep, yep.
They were the general idea was that they were going to have a certain actor
tracked down a
play
couple
the
more
character
before
for a
near the
certain
edge of
amount
the
of
city.
films, and then they would change actors and continue the storyline, like James Bond, which was a fantastic idea, especially when you're looking at a character like Spider-Man, right? Because he has so many villains, so many different stories, that you probably wouldn't have someone be alive long enough to make enough films for that, right? So again, it's a license to print money, effectively.
So it's
Which-
like the old Japanese serial approach, where like,
Place is a dead end in more ways.
well, like the old Japanese like samurai show approach, where they just occasionally change out the actor, with no explanation at all.
Exactly. Where they're just like, well, this character is bigger than the actor.
Jesus, broken heart.
So we're just going to continue the storyline, and when this actor doesn't want to do it anymore, gets too old, blah, 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 whatever, we're just going to move on to a new actor and continue filming. That was originally what they were planning on doing. And then they ditched it after Spider-Man 3 because
Because somebody wrote a bad script, and then
They're
they just
idiots.
abandoned it.
And then we've just gotten, what, remake after remake after remake?
Yeah, of Spider-Man's friggin' origin story, which, by the way, like, okay, yes, I get it, Spider-Man has a cool and kind of mimetic origin story, but, like, it's not that good.
He and Batman have this problem where no one wants to move past the origin element.
Yes.
Bruce Wayne's parents were shot. Uncle
because-
Ben.
I'll tell you why. It's because most people in the United States are not comics nerds. Okay, so most people they know
It stood
the
for
origin
something
story
once.
because it's part of like the
Something
like the
real.
zeitgeist. They don't know, you know, about I don't know,
In time, though, the bulb stopped. being
Batman's
simple
58,
and started
you know,
being
confrontation
decoration.
That's fine.
with you know,
Yeah.
the Joker.
That's perfectly fine. The greater
Even
problem
save
here
loyal
is,
subjects.
like we said, we have these characters with tons of different stories that are really good. We can agree on that. There's a lot of stupid in there too. You can ignore it.
Yeah.
But if you're going to make a series on a character, right? Can't we have
It's a decent
enough
scarecrow at least.
assumption with the general audience that we can go, oh, if they want to see what the origin of this character is, they can just buy and watch the first movie.
Oh
They
shit!
do that with
Fucking
James
shit.
Bond.
The problem with that, Josh, is that the people who are making these decisions are not old people. They are
I know.
studio executives who basically make their decisions after after using copious quantities of Colombian marching powder. And the cognitive faculties
Breaks
like
into
this.
bits. Must have
Yeah,
been
well,
gone,
you
that's
have a
right.
bunch of uncreative people in charge of a creative industry. Always works out well.
That's a
Creative quotation marks. Honestly, I think a lot of the supposed creatives in these industries
So
are
what'll
not
it be?
real
Invoke
creatives.
the gods, or tell them off.
They're hacks.
You fake it until you make it situation. It's
These are people who really are not particularly original as far as their.
or you know somebody, or you knock somebody off, or you steal somebody else's work. But this isn't a major issue. Is that you have
Need favors.
a ton of different storylines, and let's just be perfectly honest. If you slap Captain America, you
Hey!
slap
God's
Thor, you
alive.
slap Superman, you slap Spider-Man on the cover, there's a good chance that if the movies have been pretty good and there's a lot of hype still out there because they've been pretty good, people will watch it.
Yeah,
So it's
for the
ri-
most part. Although
it's
recently
ridiculous.
they've really kind of tainted that well.
Well, this is a problem when you keep rebooting things.
Yeah. You
Like,
can't, because you
oh.
can't
Because
tell
the thing is,
consistent
like,
stories.
To get the gods.
Most people have seen the first movie, right? They don't want to watch the same movie multiple times. especially
Yeah.
when you're trying to reboot things like multiple times in the same 5 or 6 years.
Oh yeah. And I will be merciful and not mention the numerous Superman attempts at this. And I'll talk about the numerous Spider-Man attempts instead.
Well, that's just as valid.
Supreme cringe.
like, love it or hate it. This, when you look at the way that they sold these reboots, is that one, you got, hey, here's Spider-Man, this is his origin, and now all the rest of the movies are moving away from that origin. Oh, we made an emo one that we're embarrassed about. Let's reboot it. What's going to be the selling point this time? Better CGI.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks. That was really good. Nobody likes that one because he's a whiny bitch who cries all the time. Okay, so this next reboot that's going to be done with Marvel is it features an actual kid. Who's
Oh, yeah, because that's
basically
even
just
fucking better.
an Iron Man fanboy.
Yeah, in which Peter Parker's own skills are just completely downgraded.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? Here's the thing. They downplayed Parker's skills back before Mr. Iron Man fanboy. When Mary Jane had to fucking do everything for him.
Well, I mean, hell, they downgraded the skills when he got those stupid organic web shooters.
I mean, yeah, that was the one major issue I had with the Raimi Spider-Man, was the organic web shooters.
I will just continue.
Probably the comic storyline to give him organic web shooters in the comics was like nightmare fuel.
It's still technically better than the Clone Saga.
Yo,
That's the
Jesus.
only thing I will give it. Because I have nothing but contempt for that storyline.
That's right.
Oh my
The
god.
storyline about him like being like mutated by the mother of spiders or something.
No.
Like doing. You just have to do the.
He was mutated by the Spider Queen. Was her name?
What happened as a clone thing is that they reveal that Peter Parker is not the actual Peter Parker. He's a clone of, I believe, the Scarlet Spider who is living off in his...
Oh yeah, that's in the clone thing, but I know what he was talking about. It's when the Spider Queen fucking turned Parker into that thing.
Yeah,
that was a different storyline. I mean, the Spider Queen was hot as fuck, but that storyline was bizarre and really fucked up.
There's some really good Spider-Man stories in there, and a lot of them will never be told because we have Iron Lad.
Iron Lad, God, please no.
Please, Iron Man, let me be like you. No. And anyone who thinks good is going to come out these next few, what are they called? Phases?
Phase 4 bullshit.
Is about to find out what was like a decade ago.
Considering that Marvel did the Phase 4 movies are all based off of modern woke novels.
Yeah, well, they're all based off of literally Marvel Comics Phase 4, which nobody fucking likes.
Which nobody reads. The people who do... I'm pretty sure, like, Zach is basically keeping Marvel in business.
His store prays for him to make cringe videos on bad comics. Please have Zach come in here and buy some of these so he can destroy them.
Like, I think some of these comics are literally just being made to troll Zach.
Maybe, man. I don't fucking know.
Look at it this way.
If enough copies, they might as well be.
They're all still probably better than white.
Oh!
Which can't even come out.
Phoenix says the radical feminists will use Biden's incompetence to push their agenda further, which...
They'll try, but by then, shit's gonna be so ate up for them, it ain't gonna make no damn difference.
I need to go in and help.
Sure, the city marshal.
You need to go what?
I'm playing Cord right now. I'm doing the Jura Marches meta, and there is nobody on this map. This is just bad.
The one thing I'd say about that is, as a lot of people thought Biden was going to go super left, the only thing I can really say is he's been surprisingly tame.
Yeah, because he just want to do shit. I mean, who really thought he wanted to go through a lot of effort once he got in office?
Well, he's a living embodiment of the Democratic Party. They use the far left, and then they never implement anything they want.
Yeah. He's sitting pretty. What the fuck does he care?
He never cared. Bernie didn't care.
Not really, no.
So what chance do they have in anything else?
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
but
to freeze or starve.
Oh man, Marvel's gonna die. DC's nearly there. Image Comics is still somehow alive.
That one's some magical bullshit.
The only reason that Marvel is still in business as a going concern is because they're a subsidiary of Disney and they don't have to keep their books.
Yeah.
And
although even that, I feel, has got a limited shelf life on it.
And it's a good way to refresh the IPs. Now we don't have to worry about it. We'll just make trash.
Actually, this is an interesting thing that I'm willing to go stream on for a while. Is you guys heard about how Marvel bailed out IDW, right?
Yeah.
By giving them the pity ability.
Well, here's the thing, like, so, because IDW has a bunch of Marvel licenses, because Marvel somehow can't let you make stuff with their own IP anymore.
Yeah.
So, IDW was, like, hard, running out of money, burn rate. They should have gone out of business sometime last year.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they didn't because Marvel bailed out. Like, Marvel just gave them a bailout.
Yeah.
And the thing is, so in the corporate world, companies don't just like give each other money for no reason.
Nope.
Which means that probably Marvel, and by Marvel I mean Disney, acquired some kind of equity in IDW in doing so, which makes me think that Disney might have bought IDW under the table.
Well, there's always that possibility. They might have also given them what I would refer to as corporate welfare, in the terms of they plan on shutting down Marvel Comics eventually.
Just letting IDW buy the IP.
Yeah,
Probably.
not even necessarily.
They also shut down Marvel Comics too and outsource everything to IDW.
Exactly. Instead of, they don't have to run it, they just license it out to IDW, and they keep them around mostly to keep the IPs fresh. So that if anyone ever tries to knock off their stuff or say, hey, this is old enough that I should be able to public domain it, oh, sorry, we have a company producing this and you're competing with us.
Yeah, but I mean, in that case, they'd want some kind of a stake in it.
Yeah.
I think they didn't have. What I'm actually interested in is, like, first of all, I don't know what IDW's ownership structure looks like.
I don't think anyone at this point. It'd be interesting to see who owns the largest degree of shares in them.
Yeah,
Maybe,
IDW is a publicly traded company. I think they're
The Calamity Trophy.
you understand this is very uninformed on my part because I literally don't know, but they might be a private company. In which case, yeah, like Disney could, at least I think Disney could potentially just walk in and buy them under the table, and potentially nobody would be the wiser.
Well, type in Disney IDW.
I think look this up.
It comes up with a link, at least on the top of mine. It says Disney/IDW, and it's a list of all the Disney comics that they publish now.
Yeah, that's not suspect at all.
Yeah, they seem to have a lot of Disney licenses.
Hey, God,
IDW seems to be this seems to have just a lot of IP. And I don't, for a company which seems to be kind of the embodiment of failure, I don't know how they've acquired something.
Oh, shit.
Put the kid on notice.
straight up purchasing things.
Ow.
They have a duck oven. Oh, they're doing a DuckTales kind of. Okay. Let's see. They lose 26.4 million in 2019. Investors request to sell the company. Yes, this is 2019.
They're traded on NASDAQ. Okay, apparently IDW is a publicly traded company and they're on NASDAQ.
Jeez, okay. Well, fuck it. I guess.
Cinderbrick gave him enough heat and metal to munch on for a while.
Let's see, one of those-
IP Design Works LLC. Look them up.
Can't blame them for wanting it though.
Yeah, right now I'm just finding a lot tied in with their massive losses in 2019. Millionaire director and founder.
Yeah, they're owned by some stage.
Not a scratch on him.
Oh.
He presses on the higher ground.
So they belong to a holding company called Idea and Design Works LLC.
Founder, distribution, still going for Diamond? That's weird. Imprints. IDW Media Holdings Inc.
He's blasting everything.
That's
in sight with that
interesting.
newfangled musket.
Oh,
IDW Media.
let's see. Here we go. San Diego Comic Art Gallery.
Security's laying gone
Top
haywire.
shelf?
Bags gummed up the works.
About. This has turned into an investment situation.
Bags don't know.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, we're not advising
Kid
engagement
in the
with that.
middle of the forge parade.
Yeah, never invest in this company, as far as I can tell.
I would say no. That would be a dumb fucking thing.
Yeah, they're...
Oh shit!
Then they bring out Brutus and Brandon and all that
Yeah, as it looks at the moment, there's not a lot of information.
We got something to gain.
Yeah, this is actually kind of interesting because, okay, so IDW is owned by a holding company that doesn't have a website. They're apparently a publicly traded company, yet yeah. And there's not a ton of information on who owns that.
Found this. That might help you for your research.
You guys are confusing as fuck.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just saying, it's like, wow, this conversation just kind of came out of nowhere.
You can only punch Biden so much.
Oh, I know, I wasn't encouraging that either, really.
And, you know, like the Marvel films themselves, we just kind of lost steam talking about them.
There's nothing wrong with that. I was just observing what a weird shift it was, that's all.
Yeah. I think it's
Damn it! Ow.
Last stock price is $4 a share,
Kid takes down Glutus. Maybe it was Blandon.
which I mean isn't necessarily bad. So there's some very profitable companies with low share prices.
yeah.
Share price is so much a factor of like how it's really engineered by companies.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Kid used to dream of getting a marshal's badge.
Yeah, I'm interested in who owns most of their stock.
That would be interesting to find out.
The Skyways.
Okay, so according to this sketchy website, they're
Sketchy.
100% owned by retail investors.
Oh, that's very fucking intuitive.
Yes, 0% institutional shareholders, 0% insiders, and 100% retail
just as
investors.
Zolf's telling me about his own journey
That's
to the city.
that's comforting.
It's also a very broad category.
Seems the
Yeah,
only
no
thing
kidding.
the Calamity
It is a
saved
very
for
broad
Zolf
category.
was a smoking pipe.
You'd think there would at least be some institutional investment. Well, okay, look, if I was running a mutual fund, I would not
Marshall
buy
seemed like a good
stock.
man, he says.
Unless I was trying to lose
They
money.
treated him with dignity.
It's like, hey guys, we need to take the earnings
Zolf
down. A
brought his
little bit.
antique smoking pipe. all
It's
the
gonna
way
be
to
tax
the
implications on
terminals.
this. Let's make some shitty trades.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Kid's ready
Oh,
to get real
jeez.
personal with
No,
hammer
I
and
don't
musket
even
in
want to think
hand.
about it.
Even since the Ura
Well,
surrendered to us,
apparently,
the
this is
marshals kept a wary eye on
They
him.
do have to file reports to the SEC.
Well. On the surface, it looks like they simply are using them as a way to keep producing their stuff.
Yeah.
You want to tune a scrap
Well,
musket,
you know, when
start
you
with
get
a
somebody to pay you money to do it, you know.
See, the problem is I'm not a securities lawyer, so most of these now they actually have an SEC page, Securities and Exchange Commission. Problem is I would need to
Poor kid collapses after just one
do some
drag.
self-education as far as being able to read this crap.
More than likely, yeah. And it's a little late in that.
Past.
It
Oh,
is a
good
little
thing
late.
ever
Well, it's a
come
little
out
bit
of the
late.
past.
Yeah, I'm not
history.
gonna
I could
dive
potentially
into
look
that.
at their quarterly reports they're filing.
I can
Oh, what the fuck
contact
did I
them and
just
ask
do?
them if they're Disney's bitch.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sure they'd be happy to issue a statement saying they can either confirm or deny that.
Sounds about right.
We pay Disney protection money not to answer these questions.
Well, they'd say no because legally they're not Disney's bitch. They're possibly their wholly owned subsidiary, but they're not a bitch.
We're more like their gimp, man. Get your terms right.
Oh my god.
The problem is that camp isn't a legal term.
No,
Past catches
but
up
everybody
with you.
knows what that guy
Hardly had a
does.
moment's rest until
do.
this started.
Oh my god. I'm just looking for topics at the moment.
Well, we ain't gotta be here all night, man. It's just something we kind of decided to do because it was been a shit ass day.
It looks like Hellraiser is showing up for Dead by Daylight. Oh, okay.
What? Oh god. Why are the
Already.
Cenobites in Dead by Daylight?
Because Jason is there.
They ain't got nothing to
You
do
know,
with
looking at IDW's front page, it's like, oh my god, these are just the most. Do any of these things sell more than 10,000 copies?
nothing. Nothing to my
really?
knowledge in quite a while has sold very well beyond those Sonic the Hedgehog comics they just did.
And yeah, let's see. They've got this Lock and Key comic that I guess got picked up by Netflix. Although, like at this rate, I'm half expecting a call from Netflix myself.
God no! Don't take it. It's a trap.
We heard that you're making a thing and we're desperate.
And we're desperate for content. Please license your stuff to us.
Fuck no.
Like, ew, no senor.
If I fucking got my book out there and some motherfucker calls me from it, no, fuck you.
You never knew
They have a
his old
Dungeons
man,
and Dragons comic.
but he had his mama's
Yeah, I could
Real
probably.
thing.
I heard something about it, but I zero confidence. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing, like Dungeons and Dragons can't even do Dungeons and Dragons right anymore. Like, why the fuck would I read that?
Well, let's not talk about the thing that makes me even sadder.
Network looks okay too. Although the hilarious thing is like, so you could just make, you know, the best comic in the world in America these days, and nobody's gonna buy it because apparently stuff doesn't even get advertised.
while he was growing up.
Well, that's one thing. Like, what advertisement is there? You know? Oh, jeez.
Well, how many kids do you really see in comic shops these days?
Not that for
I'm not sure I would feel that a child would be safe in some comic shop.
That's
Oh, well-
also potentially true.
The last time I saw a kid in the comic shop was 2 years ago. And they weren't even
Google
there
working
for the
out,
comics.
Some kid signs up for a turn on the rippling wall.
I don't even remember what they
Make
were
his
there
mama
for.
some money.
They're there for D&D.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, they were there for gaming. Yeah.
Because they had a little club thing,
That's right.
meeting there, and they were learning D&D. That way they could
This art looks really nice.
properly go in there and kill the kobolds.
The usual kobold massacre.
You gotta get that money somehow, kids. And it
It's like,
depends
it's
on
always either
when.
kobolds or goblins, you know?
Whatever's out there.
Something has to
Elements,
die
the earth.
in a dungeon in the whole ground. Yeah, you know, it was kind of funny to see that, and then I never saw it again. So
Yeah.
that was a bit sad.
Not surprising, though, given how shit comics have
Is this
got.
digital only? Are you kidding me?
Digital only?
Okay, this is not only overpriced, it's
Ah!
Once a
Well,
kid
most of
does
the comics
time,
are
he
overpriced
runs
these
out home.
days.
Turns out his mama's time.
like you don't
Yeah.
think like a phone book of manga for this much money?
You know, that Boulder's Gate, the color theory's all wrong on it.
Is it?
Yeah, the art's okay, but
Shit.
they did they did it reversed. So the
It is an interesting looking cover.
the problem I have with it is that so it's not if you took the characters and it was black and white, fine. So it's got the background environment
Fuck,
coming
ow.
down to a peak, but that's white. Then they put the main character right in the center, which is where they're supposed to. But he's very light skinned. He's got a pastel purple tattoo, a pastel purple cape, a light
That is some
burnt-
colorblind bullshit right there, man.
Wait,
Wow.
I thought you were talking about the earlier one.
The
First,
city had nothing for
No,
him.
no, I'm talking about
Money
the
had been
evil
sent
at
home,
Boulder's
nowhere
Gate.
to be found.
yeah, okay. The second one that is way too.
He washes into the white of the background. So my eyes pulled down to the bandits in the
Check.
much darker and bolder brown with the yellowish orange bandana.
The hero really fades into the background on this one. Like your eye is pulled to the orc on the right.
They're like, what? Why would you
Oh,
do
shit.
that?
Ow. That ain't good. Get away from me.
The first one I liked the way they did it because the colors work. as more of a highlight for the main characters. The second, we're talking about Evil at Boulder's Gate comic
Although,
cover.
in fairness, I think everybody who's watching this stream is on our Discord, and this is all coming in.
Probably, you know.
So, yeah, listen along with this.
Number 3, with the fact that the
damn it.
characters in a
Motherfucker.
bolder, more contrasting color works. That's fine.
I think you might like this.
I like what they did. My problem is the background should be a bolder color to highlight them better. They could have left the darker,
but the background is very.
the darker shades that should be like a reddish color, not in as bold as the Dungeons and Dragons. It should be more of a well.
No, they need to put something behind them that's like real, not just like some bullshit swirl, right? Because it looks like they're fighting in the fucking like.
If they had done a little streak or something under there, that would have helped. The characters are well done, and it's decent action. Well, this isn't bad. Unfortunately, this trend I'm starting to notice is that it's always something behind or to the sides of whoever the main character is, in a kind of an unusual framing.
Interesting.
My big problem with
Why they have Spider-Man with stupid avatar tattoos on his
number 4, I tend to look at the werewolf too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice word.
Okay. Huh.
In time, the kid earned good standing.
Let's see. Shadow of the Vampire. You know, that's just odd. There's something about the pastel color that's in there that's just.
What is the obsession with
Stacking the
fucking
light.
pastels, man?
I think they're trying to use it as a shading kind of
Sounds like
color.
a terrible fucking idea to me.
Because you got the lady shooting a lightning bolt, and then you have the various vampires in like a darkish green, and then like a blue.
Also, so like you guys play a ton of D&D, so
We used to.
I don't think any combination of dice rolls is going to get these guys out of this situation.
Expeditions.
No,
No,
you're dead.
very fucking unlikely, just from what I've heard.
I mean, the old
Like, I ain't even gotta see it, I've heard it, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like some bull.
Yeah.
That's like, you fucking pissed the DM off and the game is about to end.
My first problem with Shadows of the Vampire number 3
Yeah.
is the big warrior guy. His eyes are uneven and misaligned.
Wait, really?
Misaligned, and they're not even on the same plane. So his left eye is further into his skull and up. The right eye is further towards the side of his skull and lower. What? These are basic things a editor should pick up on.
What editor? I mean, you have heard about, like, how much work the editors do at some of these comic places, right?
Well, this is the problem. Is I come from when there wasn't this shoddy. Okay, these are better. These are better. Okay. Well, number 4 for Shadows of the Vampire. It's good framing on the characters. You're looking at the heroes more. This is a little bit better framing than just people around you in a circle and you're looking down on them. This is more of almost getting ready to be an action pose. My immediate thing would be no, it needs to be action. You need to draw in the readers by look at them fighting werewolves. That'd be my first thing. Number 5, it's just a vampire sitting with his cape and some bats. Badly drawn bats in the background.
Bad bats, huh?
I don't know what's happening with the shadows on his face because it looks like the light is coming from both sides of him instead of
I guess called being bad at shading.
Considering he should probably be bursting in flames from that sun in the background.
well, that's the moon, but that is a joke.
It was meant as a joke.
If you look at his face, like it looks like the light's coming in from the sides. It doesn't. His face should be completely in shadow.
Basically. I don't know. That would be one I'd reject offhand. Like number 4 for the Frost Giant's Fury, I'd completely object to this one. There's no action in it, so there's no excitement. Kids are gonna look at it and they're gonna be, hey, 2 bearded guys walking casually like they're looking to the supermarket. And then these 2 standing around like kids going, oh crap, did they see a still tomato? That would get rejected. Oh dear God, here we're back to it. Okay, Frost Giant's Fury number 1. The pastel's back.
Again, that obsession with the pastel is killing me.
The characters are in the exact same outfits that they would be in a warmer environment.
Ow.
They're standing around doing nothing, and there's a giant blue hand in the background.
Why?
With, again, terrain trying to frame them. I'd reject this. This tells you nothing. Except there's pastel idiots who don't know how to dress their letter in a blue hand.
Oof.
Also, that hand is really messed up. Did that guy break his finger or something?
Something happened to his fingers. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is action.
It's like this kind of Attack on Titan. Okay.
Oh God.
It's clearly based on it. I'll even forgive them for expecting an arrow to hold a grown man's full weight while swinging off a rope tied to it.
What? I won't. The fuck?
You have a... Is that a lizard in the background?
I don't know. I can't see.
Is that a lizard man jumping?
Oh shit.
Where was I?
Yeah, it's okay. It's a little bland color-wise. The action could use a little work.
If you want to see a nightmare in perspective.
Oh no. It's now become an art review.
Hey man. You guys are having fun.
Right.
Go for it, I guess. Oh fuck! Not this thing again.
Well, this is the problem. This is a lot of this I would just completely reject and go, what is wrong with you? Alright, the Mindbreaker 1 from the Dungeons and Dragons line.
I think that's the latest one they're doing. Well, this guy is... Okay, this dude is dead because he's getting attacked by 3 displays.
Oh god! Fuck that noise.
Okay, so...
Actually, no way, because... Yeah, okay, so he's fighting a displacer beast and he's cloning itself. So that isn't necessarily terrible.
It still ain't good. Especially if there's just one dude.
Well, immediately, one issue I have is, they bent the perspective to
They
try to
bent
make
it?
it seem like it's there's more movement than it is. It's again a static thing. They de-emphasized the pastel purple and made it more flush or colorful. That's good. Is that a magic missile or a whip she's using?
Wait. You can't tell the fucking difference?
I know it's a magic missile, but I'm going to assume that the reader is in a comic store. They've probably heard of Dungeons and Dragons and know nothing else.
Okay, well...
So they see a bald man with a tattoo, choke holding?
This guy looks like Aang's bouncer cousin.
Oh,
Like
Jesus.
a weird cat thing with tentacles. And then you got a lady that's kind of in motion. who's got a curving 3-pronged light whip, effectively.
Mm.
I think that's supposed to be a magic missile, but that I
But you see what I'm
Magic
saying.
is like a mouthful of nails.
It's already kind of a goofy thing, but maybe at that point you should have it where you move her down towards the corner, have her turned to be firing like lightning bolt or something into that one.
I mean, I think that's at the point you need to rethink your composition.
But I think what they did was they used her casting the spell to cover the just bad body positioning for the main
She's supposed to be
character.
like under the influence of a shrink spell or something, right? She looks like she was about knee high to this dude.
Oh shit.
Oh, jeez. This next one. Issue 1, Infernal Tides.
Well, I question their decision to do a victory pose while, like, literally the forces of hell are just raining down onto them.
That doesn't strike me as like even the fucking war master from Orcs Must Die wouldn't be that fucking ballsy.
Well, one, here
Like,
we
I'd be
are.
more worried if I was them.
Here we are again with that whole thing with the buildings being arranged in the same way, so it's obviously been based on a CGI model. Thank God they filled the open space with flames. The main warrior guy, his arm bends in 2 ways that aren't right.
Yeah, his arm is bending, like, backwards, like it's, like, he needs to see a doctor, because it looks like his arm is...
of the old world.
Also, did he lose weight because he's become a cone?
Also, why is he 12 feet tall again? Because he doesn't seem to be standing on anything, yet he's so much taller than everybody else.
He also looks like he's standing at an angle that's different than all the other characters.
Also, his sword blade looks bent.
And the Bastion
Maybe
makes
that's
it
just
good as
me.
new.
No, I'll tell you why it looks bent is because his hand is fucked up. His hand doesn't look like it's actually holding the handle. It looks like it looks like the artist drew a fist and then drew the sword out of the fist.
Well, that's technically what they did. I think they traced that sword because the sword's turned. If he was actually holding it up that way, it should be a lot thinner because you should see it from blade side as opposed from a flat edge. Also, if you look at where the handle is, it's off center to the core of the sword blade. So that's
shoot that fang repeater
odd.
all day long.
So that obviously got added in otherwise. I will say the mage looks better. Have no idea about the purple yellow person.
The purple yellow person.
The
That's fucking
gnome,
brilliant.
please, for the love of God, give this, I'm assuming, female gnome character actual pants.
Mm-hmm.
Learn another group pose other than Power Rangers starting out. But better use of color.
Yeah.
And this time I'm thinking she's casting some kind of lightning bolt spell.
Yeah, like
Maybe.
some of them look okay. That their artists used to. I think
again-
they did their stuff a little bit harder.
And this is not necessarily to like besmirch these people,
Like their artist is clearly enthusiastic, but I think their artist needs.
but they need someone to give them a little bit of creative pushback.
Yes,
Because
like,
they're relying on some things. Then again, their page rate probably is trash.
yeah, for how much they're probably paying this person, that's probably fantastic work.
Likely sub minimum wage, so it's probably why they're just like, hey, look, put it on the cover. This would basically get a strongly worded rejection from Stan, though.
Points just don't get any sharper.
That'd be me, though. And again, it's not an attack on the artist, but
They've got an entire GI Joe page.
no,
Don't do it.
don't go there. What they've done to G.I. Joe.
I mean, the art doesn't look bad.
It's not.
Some of the art looks quite bad.
It's not
Let me correct myself.
so much
What
the.
the fuck is this?
I can't see it, so I can't help you.
Well, I'll post it because apparently the world is being threatened by Fu Manchu.
Oh, Lord have
Fu
mercy.
Manchu? Is that Major Blood?
No. Hold on. Where'd you
What?
post this shit? I'll actually stop.
It's an entertainment dumpster fire.
I think it's Major Blood. And when did he become Mongolian?
I don't know.
I really
Okay,
need a
okay, that is
Disney
a cool
film.
looking werewolf. I want to like that character in front of him, but there's something off about her.
You know what? I know what this character is. He's not Major Blood. He's that one bad guy from the Mulan original animated series.
Oh no,
movie.
the Mongolian dude?
Yeah, he looks like him.
He
G.I. Joe Shang. doesn't
Oh
he?
my god, he does look like him. Oh,
China will be mine.
Oh,
I
my
mean, they have a
fucking-
lot of Disney licenses. They could probably they could do a crossover.
They
Yeah.
might, yeah.
Also, oh my god. Okay, guys.
What
If
now?
you're if you're in the business of selling comic books, right?
Oh no.
Would you ever put this on the cover? This is a commercial product. It was produced to make money for IDW.
Oh well, one.
Oh, Phoenix Argus, by the way, as far as your comment, that's not true everywhere. A lot of kids could go to comic shops in a lot of the places around here. In the States, you got to remember the lockdown doesn't work the same everywhere. A lot of the places in the States, they ain't doing the lockdown shit.
Well, I'll correct myself on that. When there wasn't even a thought of the lockdown, it'd been years since
Yeah.
I'd seen children.
Like, there was no lockdown going on when we were talking about this. And there
On
was
this
still no
out-
damn kids.
On this issue 6 of IDW's G.I. Joe,
Yeah.
I would immediately turn this down and then fire the artist.
Fire the artist.
Just fire them. I'll give them the positives first. The Cobra icon in the back
Yeah.
with the little dashes of color to make it look like it's being on a computer refresh.
Yeah.
Fine, that's not bad. That's a decent background. It gets a nice striking attention immediately. You know it's Cobra. The black complements it well. The problem is, here's a character looking sad that looks like it was traced over from a CG model looking at a laptop.
Marshals didn't get far on the first few tries.
Yeah, it's like that. That's like clip art.
No kid is gonna see that and go, wow, I need to buy that.
Oh god, what the fuck is
Had to catch a bunch of those
Is
boards.
this the
Fire
stuff
shot.
or is this the whatever stuff?
You know what? This one with Man of the Year with Cobra Commander, this looks like it should be a splash page in the front of the book next to a little refresher on the story.
Kind of, maybe? I mean...
And then at the bottom, I wouldn't even have this full page. I'd have it be basically towards where the chessboard is. I'd have a little insert where there's some, like, Joe's looking at this book and like, oh my lord, this is what it's come to. To just start getting the story moving, because otherwise, okay, fine, it's
Marshals did more
okay,
than just
serviceable
stand around
cover,
shooting
but this isn't
soldiers.
going to get kids to be like, yeah, I like Time Magazine.
Oh.
And otherwise, it's a waste of space. No problem with the art otherwise. It just doesn't tell you anything. The Baroness. Okay, I like the Baroness.
Of course you do. Everybody does.
Could they strap her into any more unattractive clothing?
Wait, really?
Like, okay, they've done everything to basically flatten her
How
out,
do you
ruin
manage
her.
to make the Baroness
A
unattractive?
trench coat, they took her hips
Okay,
down by
okay.
about 80%.
The Baroness did wear a trench coat on occasion. I remember some of the older comics she wore a trench coat, but her suit underneath didn't change at all.
So immediately I would reject this with the commentary that no, the Baroness is not an evil elf that works for Santa. So stop.
What the fuck?
And I'm not going to post the Transformers stuff because I would probably have Katala send something explosive to my house.
I don't want to see him either.
That would end up being one of those we'd have to do a Transformers IDW screw up stream.
Oh.
I'll
And I don't think any of us will live through that, so let's not.
I posted a link in cringe.
Oh lord.
I'm not going to post the picture because this is cringe.
Yeah, I'm
Everything in
not even
IDW Transformers is cringe.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna go there. Yeah, I'm convinced that's Major Blood.
That's fucking awful.
Just from looking at some of the stuff, it looks like Major Blood.
Ugh.
Though he...
Major Blood, oh, what is with the bald thing? Major Blood always had like a full head of fucking hair.
Well, it's because it's shaved down.
Oh, for fuck's sake. That's just dumb.
I don't... At the end of the day, I just...
Sebastian Blood was not balding.
Squirt cider will toughen you right up. Too bad about the musty aftertaste.
Fuck's sake. Alright, guys. I think we're gonna call it a night here. It's been a couple hours. This was a really impromptu thing we just kind of threw together anyway. I appreciate those of you that showed up, Phoenix, CSA, and thanks for showing up, AW, and hanging out for a little bit.
Sorry for hijacking their stream to an impromptu art review stream that we really should do on StreamYard so we can...
So you can actually show the shit. Honestly, that's the only disadvantage to it, is that you can't show the shit, you know?
We can redo this later.
Yeah, we might actually want to just do a highlight of, like, shit-ass IDW licensed comics, you know? That would be a thing.
Like, this is a business which exists. This is a publicly traded corporation. You can buy these people's stock on NASDAQ.
It's...
This is, like, the least cringe stuff on their page.
Oh man, it is bad. It is bad. It is really fucking bad. All right, guys, I'm gonna cut us out here. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for those of you that hung out. Thanks for all the commentary there, Phoenix. And everybody take care of yourselves. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.
Later.
Later, everyone.